Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank everybody for taking time to be here. I was telling Lou, and I know I've said this to Brooks and others, but I think these meetings are so important going forward, and I hope you will continue them collectively. If you think about it, you all represent the whole county and everything that happens in the county. And I just think this is a great way to get people together. In Raleigh, we've been able to do a lot of things getting stakeholders together, and what better stakeholders are there in the county than this group and you all. I want to brag on somebody, and I told him I was going to, but Representative Strickland was one of the appropriations chairs. He's one of the guys that actually worked on the budget the whole time for the House. There was a group, how many do you all have from the House? Eight from the House and 3 from the Senate that put in a ridiculous number of hours. They would be up there when we were there, and when we'd leave, they'd still be up there, and the nights that I'd stay, they would still be up there. So a lot of the things that are in the budget, and especially a lot of the things that Howard and me and John Sauls got in, were because they saw the importance of it, kept it in, put enough other things in there to get bipartisan support, which was so crucial this time. And really, we presented a budget that the governor was going to be hard-pressed not to sign because it was that good a budget. And he said that. There were things in it he didn't like, but there were so many great things in it. So when you start getting that money for water and sewer and infrastructure, other infrastructure issues, and for all the different things that are coming to Harnett County, you need to be very appreciative of the folks that worked a lot of time to get it in there. When Brooks and I had some conversations, and I know and Lou and I had conversations, and many of you about this money and water and sewer, and the mayor and I had been together a lot talking about the moratorium in Dunn. So that started, gosh, how long has that been going on?
Since May. So
we started talking about it and started getting folks involved. He and a number of the folks came up to visit and talk to a lot of us, and then I got Secretary Visor to come down there, to come down and visit to see what, and it was her first visit out to a facility. And part of what she said during the meetings, and she visited Dunn, and she came over and visited with George and Coley and who else was it? Steve was in that meeting, and then we had some conversations following that, and one of the things she said, Jim, I want to help, but I want to help everybody. And the best thing that you can do is get everybody together and come up with a plan, and Representative Strickland will tell you, there is a ton of money available for water and sewer projects. Not only the money that you got, or it's already been allocated, but there's a lot more money. But the way they're going to look at it is, they're going to look at what are people doing together and handling regional problems and regional ideas. So listening to her, talking to them, I shared that I think that we ought to approach this with a big concerted effort for Harnett County, because Harnett County already sells, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, we sell to 5 counties now? Yes. So we already have a regional system. But where there's talk about Dunn putting in another water plant, Harnett County's talking about putting in another water plant, Joseph's talking about sewer issues, Angier wants to do more things. There ought to be a way that we collectively put together an organization and or an agreement so that we don't duplicate or compete, that we share and invest jointly with every kind of cross. Well, in real estate, when I'm working on a deal, I always talk to people about cross-access agreements for parking and everything else, because I want everybody to agree going into it on what we want to do. But capacity, we're talking about maybe building 2 water plants that would be right beside each other. Why not build one big plant and then everybody have a percentage of the capacity based on what the total investment is and how much water you're going to need? But we need to be looking out years and years and years. Who best knows the idea? Mark, how many houses are going to be built in Harnett County in the next 5 years?
Next
5 years?
Next 5 years.
Plus 10,000.
You know the number I've heard? 50,000. Now these are developers and folks that have been contacting. Coley was mentioning some developers. This morning I've talked to 2 developers and had an offer on a tract of land, and I've got one developer right now that's wanting to find 500 acres in Harnett County to build something on. He's worried me to death. He called me last night wanting me to call somebody I know, and because he wants to try to go ahead and buy their land. And I don't know, 50,000, just think what that does to not only your infrastructure, your schools, everything, transportation. You're going to have to help with that too. But think about how that's going to change. And then when we talk about the new road that's going to be coming through Harnett County, the new interstate that they're talking about, they're buying up the land right now around to finish the bypass, Mr. Chairman, and that's going on. But just in the last week, I've had people from California come up and introduce themselves to me, from New York come up and introduce themselves to me, from Florida that came up and introduced themselves to me, all saying we've just moved to Harnett County and we love it. So when I look at that, then I think, who better to deal with these issues and opportunities than all the elected officials and the managers that make everything happen in our towns and county. So, George, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and I think we're up to the challenge of it. Folks, Wake County is the largest county in North Carolina now. It passed Charlotte last year. That is not going to stop. You all saw what Toyota just announced yesterday, $1 billion investment, soon to be $3 billion over the lifetime of the project. I promise you this park in Chatham County is going to do the same thing. That's going to be the next one there'll be a big announcement in. And all of that affects us. They say anything within 35 to 50 miles of you has an effect on you. And we're going to be dealing with that because Harnett County is still one of the cheapest places to live. If you work in Wake County and you don't want to pay the Wake County prices and you start looking outside, Johnston County was the first place they went, and you all have exploded. Fastest growing county in the state, right? Yep. And Harnett County's getting that too. And where we've missed some of, I think, our opportunity, but I think we can still do it, is Johnston County and Lee County became known for the pharmaceutical end of it. And just about everything that comes to North Carolina now that's pharmaceutical related, that doesn't want to be in the Research Triangle Park, they look to Johnston County and they look to Lee County. Lee County, I think, has, in the last 24 months, landed close to $2 billion worth of investment. And I don't know what's Johnson County's now. It's this ridiculous amount. So whether you like what we're talking about or not, you're going to need to kind of figure out how to deal with it. So I hope that one of the things that everybody agrees to is, let's all figure out how to work together. We're going to, all three of us, and John Sauls are all committed to Harnett County and to working and to do it. And you can look at the budget and see all the things that were in the budget that are just fantastic. I mean, $10 million here, $30 million, there's money that's there, and there's a lot more money available. But what I'd love for us to do is quickly put together a plan and then present it to the secretary, and then get our folks who will do the actual request and everything on board. But the secretary's committed to working with us to try to make it happen. Wake County's going to need more water, and we're a good place to generate it. Steve, you guys have done a fantastic job. You're authorized right now up to 69 million gallons a day.
Out of our current intake, yes.
Yeah. So with another intake and all that, I think you remember when we were together one time, I told you I'd love for Harnett County to be authorized to do 100 million gallons a day. And that ought to be that ought to be a goal, is to do that. And I'm assuming this is true. One time I made the statement, for 10 years in a row, we had some of the best water quality in the country. We got an award for it every year. I imagine that's still the case, isn't it?
We've gotten it every year.
Think about that, folks. Harnett County's generating some of the best water in the country, and we need to be recognized for that. I've told folks for however many years I've been around politics and everything, that is our gold mine, and we need to be mining it strategically. And because a lot of other people are trying to figure out how to get water, and a lot of people are dealing with sewer. Mr. Mayor, you're not the only one that's got the sewer issues, and so infiltration. We've talked about that. We got to, if we approach this, that we're going to try to deal with our infiltration issues, and we're going to deal with. I know Erwin. For years, Erwin has been trying to replace a lot of their old clay pipes and asbestos pipes, and I have a piece of a wood pipe from Fayetteville. Do you remember when they were replacing lines? You all were doing stuff down there. A guy brought me a piece of one of the old wood. They hit one of the old wood pipes that was in the ground in Fayetteville when they were working on Fort Bragg or somewhere around Fort Bragg. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, that's kind of what I thought we ought to talk about, and I know that Representative Strickland and Representative Penny have some thoughts, and then I guess the thing is, what do we do next to prepare to deal with this? I don't want us to leave money on the table that we can get, and folks, this is not money you pay back. These are going to be grants, and